Hi everybody, it's Heather at Happy Tales Tarot. I wanted today to bring you, well you already know because of the front of the video, but I wanted to bring you messages from spiders. I thought it would be appropriate for Halloween for those of you that celebrate. So let's get started. I have my little spider sweatshirt on too as well, to be a little festive. So yeah, I was so excited to do this all month. I was getting amped up to do the spider one because, well, you know, we've kind of been programmed as society to be afraid of spiders, which is a little bit unfortunate, I think, because they actually are kind of amazing if you really think about them. They're different from other insects because if you've looked at them, you know that they have two main body parts as opposed to three, which kind of looks like a figure eight. And they have 8 legs as opposed to 6 like most insects. So both right there, it has like a figure 8 and then 8 legs, which is, you know, obviously brings to mind the infinity symbol. So that's kind of a cool thing. As well as them being very agile and strong, but at the same time very fragile, right? So like if you dropped them, they probably would like break and crumble, and you know, they kind of curl up in a little ball, and you know, if they fall from the ceiling. But at the same time, they're like amazing because they can, you know, weave silken web, you know, out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, but you know, it seems as though out of nowhere, and build these beautiful webs that catch prey. They serve a great purpose because they you catch insects, so they, you know, help eradicate insects. And a lot of them kind of have a really bad rap because they're depicted as being way more poisonous than they really are. So that's one thing. Like the tarantula, you know, being really big and scary. I mean, I'm not saying that I really want to go out and hold a tarantula. It's a little frightening to me as well. But if there was one sitting here, I'm not saying I would want it to be crawling on my shoulder. But at the same time, they're not going to really hurt us as humans. Black widows have also gotten a really bad rap because the way that they eat the male after they've mated with it also elicits to this, you know, dominant female kind of energy, as well as them being extremely poisonous, which will not kill a human. It will hurt pretty bad, but won't kill us. Unless you're, I guess, allergic to it or something. I'm not a medical professional, but I don't think that actually kills us. So that going forward, they are actually quite put into a lot of folklore. A lot of them are known as being grandmother energy, which I kind of thought was kind of cool. Like they're guardians of the mysteries of the past, foretelling how the events would affect the future, which I kind of thought is cool. Like I kind of thought it's kind of an interesting little, you know, take on it. And with the figure 8 of the infinity sign, they maintain balance as well. They're considered 3 expressions of magic. The one which is creation, the silken spin webbed. 2, the strong feminine energy, keeping that alive and strong, with the black widow killing, you know, the male after mating. And the 3rd is the past and the future, meaning like, what's your central goal? And are you focused? Like, you know, what's your central goal in life? And are you focused? Which I think probably has to do with the web. You know, are you getting focused? Is there something that you need to focus on? Are you scattered in your life currently? It's asking you questions about that. So the web itself, there was some sort of comments about possibly leading to like early fragmented forms of language, like about the angular structures of the web creating early letters, possibly. I didn't really dive into that, but I thought that was really interesting. And I thought it was really interesting too about how they, you know, you think of spiders and how they make me think of like that hanged man's energy, about how they weave a web, oftentimes in corners or in, you know, corners of your house or closets, and they're you know, they turn upside down to spin the web, or they suspend from your ceiling. It's very much that hangman energy or hermit-esque kind of vibe, where you kind of go off into a space and intricately, you know, carefully and intricately create this beautiful. They're often very beautiful too when you find them in nature, like beautifully woven webs. And it's listening to me like that. It's time for us to create, you know, to tend to our space, you know, to organize it, to kind of do any last minute cleaning up of like bills or of things that we need to throw away and get rid of that we no longer need in our lives, of any kind of little, like, you know, little leftover ends, loose ends that we need to take care of, that might be kind of racking around in our brain, right? That we might need to, you know, tidy up a little bit, or creatively making a better, more cozier home or space, or creating more of a safer space for our future, you know, like creating more of a abundant future for us by tending to those little areas in of our lives that we need to, you know, like whether it's creating more of a investment portfolio or a savings plan, or whatever we need to do, even if it's just on a small scale, but starting small and tending to that for the future is important, you know. Even if it's small little baby spider steps, whatever you need to take, you know, at least it's starting somewhere, right? So anyway, and then at some point you're gonna succeed, and it's gonna grow, and then you'll be able to bring like this, you know, beautiful thing into the light of day and be able to show what you've accomplished and be very proud of yourself, right? So it's asking you to do that. And then I already went over all these things. Yeah, so I've already pulled the cards just to kind of keep things fast, because I have been kind of a little bit not so great energy wise lately, and I just didn't want to have the reading go like extra long today. But the first row is just kind of ways that reinforcing the spider energy. The second row is going to be ways that we can add more spider energy into our lives, and the third row is what will happen if we do incorporate the spider energy into our lives. So anyway, so first things first is healing, trust, and intensity. So these are the Osho cards, and so with the healing, this guy, which you're probably not going to be able to see, but he has, this one came up last time, I think. So it's like two hands on this guy's head and stomach, so it's like his third eye and his intuition center, and then he's got like all these crystals. I'm really drawn to the lotus flower and the crystals that he's surrounding, and so I believe that and it would make sense too, because if you're like hermiting and that whole hangman energy where you're looking at things from a different perspective and you're taking steps back away from society and kind of, you know, retracting your energy a little bit, in order to kind of look at things from a different perspective and kind of healing yourself, you know, which is really smart to do and really important to do sometimes, and a really good thing to do in order to create love for yourself, especially when you feel out of balance, or when you feel burdened, or when you feel like you need to make time for yourself. It's really important that you honor that about yourself and not let people encroach on that space, and be kind and caring enough to let other people have that space too. I have to say that I oftentimes, as a younger person, didn't realize that I was doing that to people, and I was encroaching on their space, not knowing, and I feel terrible about that, that I did that. And then needing that now, I understand why it's so important. The trust card is basically letting go and trusting that the universe will provide for you, and that if it's meant for you, if something is meant for you, knowing that it's going to be there, you know, like that. No, nothing's going to be taken from you that's not meant for you, and if it's not meant for you, then it'll be taken away, you know, and just believing in that, and not to worry, you know, to just be confident in the fact that whatever's meant for you is meant for you, and whatever's not meant for you is not meant for you. And then, of course, the intensity card, which is movement, is very much of a movement card forward. It's like, I think it's the Knight of Fire. And so with the Knight of Fire, you know, this can create waves and conflict in a lot of people, because once they see that you've done this, you know, sometimes this action of retracting and pulling back your energy because, for whatever reason, because you need to take care of yourself, right? Sometimes people will feel uncomfortable about that, right? They won't understand why you're doing that. They won't understand why you're not available to them, or why you can't give to a relationship the same way that you gave before, you know, why you're putting boundaries or limits, and they'll get upset, or why you're taking action and movement into another direction away from them because it serves you more, and that'll create conflict or pain or discomfort, for lack of a better thing, because they're scared, right? And so I guess we all just need to have a little compassion and understanding that probably is how they're feeling, and know that hopefully that energy will pass in time for them. But, you know, but make sure to honor what you need, you know, what's best for you. Awakening is the next card, and it says, "Oh my Lord, wake me from life as a spiritual sheep, and may I hear you through my own instincts and common sense." So it's just saying to use your instincts, to not just, you know, go on through life as just, you know, waking up and just going about life and just living it like everybody else does, you know, not paying attention to the things that make you happy, or the things that make you that don't feel right, you know, that make you feel uncomfortable, and just do what everybody else wants you to do, and, you know, letting go. Everything indeed is out of control, and God will hold it all, and I can safely let go, you know, and just be okay with the fact that, you know, you can let these things go for a little bit, and like just take time for you, you know, and just embrace that spider energy and just work on you, you know, if that's what you need to do. And everything that's meant for you will be there for you when you get done, you know? So, yeah, so let's go on and move on to, if we add the spider energy into our lives, what we will get. We have the Hermit card. We have the Hangman, with a web, by the way. the Two of Cups, the Chariot, and Temperance card. Huh. Lots of major arcana, huh? So, ideally we get the Hermit and the Hangman, which is what I was just talking about with the spider energy. I think is so interesting. So obviously we don't need to discuss that because we do. So if you incorporate the spider energy, you will end up being Hermit and the Hangman. And I think then you will end up figuring out either, you know, your Two of Cups, which is like something that fulfills you and equally wants to and reciprocate that fulfillment within you, right? Whether that is a person or a passion or a project or work or whatever it is, right? I mean, obviously it's depicted here as love, but and trusting that whatever that is, you know, whatever that abundance that's coming in is, or it could even be friendship, right? Is that it's meant for you, right? And that you'll know you'll, you know, go into that direction, that direction. But you need to be patient, you know, you need to have temperance and know that the universe has that happening at the right time for you. You know, they know when the right time is. And that you can't rush. You know, it's like she's pouring that emotion into that cup, and you know, you can't rush that. Like, you have to give it time. You have to let that happen when the universe says it's the right time. You can't push it, you know? There has to be healing done, you know? You've got to let the healing happen. So, moving on is what will be the outcome. A decision will be made. With the Six of, oh, my kitty cats are playing over there. The Six of Swords, with a decision and a journey. The Two of Swords, which is a truce. And a balancing act, like they're balancing on this. I don't know if you can see this, but they're balancing on this log they're on a log that's balanced on top of the log, and there's barren fields that looks like it's like torched in a fire or something in the background, right? They've torched it to the ground, but they're holding hands, and there's been a truce. And the Four of Pentacles, it's like, you know, there's people behind in this beautiful outside, you know, looking like they're having a wonderful time, and he's, you know, enclosed himself into a house with all of his money. And it's like, but he's not sharing it with anybody. He's imprisoned himself into this Four of Pentacles with nobody to share, you know, anything with. And it's saying, like, you know, that's no way to live, you know. And then the Nine of Swords. It's like, so to me, it's seeming like there's a decision made that you're learning these lessons, right? Right? So the Nine of Swords is that you need to stop worrying about just yourself, wallowing in your own, you know, pain and suffering. And look at the bigger picture and see the truth of everything. I think this one actually says that, you know, that whether there's like something about, like, you know, if there's really a dragon or slaying the dragon, you know, whatever it is, whether it's real or imaginary, you see the truth in the situation. So you make a decision to have a truce. Come to a compromise, right? Is really the final outcome if you suspend yourself in the spider energy and let your spirit guides take control for a little bit of time and let you heal. Well, I hope that helped. Enjoy your Halloween. Hope everybody has a safe time, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.